Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello, and welcome to Get Real Estate with Liz and Marie. I'm Liz.
And I'm Marie.
How are you doing today, Marie?
I'm doing pretty well, actually. Just recovering from a long weekend, a journey of both,
I know
exercise,
we've had a
emotional.
couple long weekends.
Yes,
They were both good, though, both totally different and just amazing in their ways, in both ways.
right. Just completely different with a women's retreat versus a mastermind intensive. Yeah, I love personal development. I love all of these types of things, and it's amazing how different they can all be, right?
That's exactly what I was just going to say. Both of them were growth mindset for us, and it's amazing. And the thing I love both about both things too is the bonding and with the groups, with the people and the people within there. It's also amazing.
Right. Well, and I think it helped because they were both smaller groups, right? We had 9 ladies the first weekend, and then there were 15 people the second weekend. So
Yeah.
just allows you that one-on-one connection.
Yep, definitely. So, but in the meantime, what is happening in the real estate market?
Oh, let me tell you what is going on. So right now, our numbers, we have a whopping 4,768 active listings in Maricopa County, which is
Down again.
not a lot. We did. We went down again. So went down 110 listings from last week, which 110, like, it doesn't sound like a lot, but when it's consistently week after week after week, like it is right now, it's pretty crazy.
Well, and from past experience, we know after the weekend after the Super Bowl or after the Super Bowl is when the real estate markets really starts picking up for the spring. So either we're going to see some growth on there, or I don't know, we're going to see it shrink even more.
Yeah. It will be interesting to see. I mean, I can tell you that the average days on market across all cities went down this week. Tempe itself had a 15-day drop. So I think we're just seeing that, now that the holidays are over, things are kind of getting back to a normal pace as far as how quickly properties are turning over. But I mean, just 4,700 listings is nothing. And I mean, overall, Maricopa County, there was zero price change from last week. There were a few cities here and there. Scottsdale, I mean, we've been talking about it, has been on the rise and rise and rise. And it's been crazy. It just leveled out and came down 2,500. I mean, 20,000, sorry.
I like the $1 too.
I know, 25,001. But Tempe also saw a price increase of 18,000, which is pretty significant for Tempe.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's basically it. The number of active rentals hasn't really changed much. It's come up 48 overall in Maricopa County, and that median rent has really stayed consistent. There's like these like $2-3 differences. I love, like, right, it was probably $29.95 across Maricopa. It's $29.93 is the median, and $24.97. I'm like, is there like some psychological thing going on right now with these odd numbers?
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that our inventory is so low is still pretty.
I know, it's crazy. And this past weekend, again, being with a lot of people from throughout the country, it was interesting listening to their landlord and their rental kind of issues that they're having. And that's kind of our theme today. But we are a landlord friendly state. And so we have a little bit more pull, and we just can able, as landlords, you have more strength. Some of those states, some of the stuff they were telling me that happened or would happen, I was shaking my head. I'm just thankful, as landlords here, that we have, we can have some number. What's the word I'm looking for? Just, I guess, strength. We have the ability to take care of bad renters.
Yeah. I mean, the turnaround time, right? If you want to evict a tenant for non-payment and things like that. I mean, we had a tenant in New York that I think ended up staying for like 8 or 9 months, completely rent-free. And that was with a judge in place. And the judge was like, oh, well, he's obviously injured. He can't work. And I'm like, No, he literally just cut his hand in the yard yesterday just so that he could show you a
Yeah,
cast on his arm.
it's
People know how to play the
crazy.
system.
Well,
Um,
and that rent moratorium that had been going on because of COVID, it's
yeah.
very strongly affecting some of these landlords in these cities that are in states that, are tenant friendlier than landlord friendlier. So, they're still paying, they still have a mortgage to pay.
I know.
So,
Well, and it's interesting, like you said, you gotta kinda just know, like, what market you're in, right?
mhm,
You gotta take with the good with the bad. I'm sure, obviously the rents in New York were higher, but also the, um, issues.
yeah.
It's definitely a tenant-friendly state, so
Yes. So that's what I was hearing. So that's what, like I say, keeping with that theme and what our articles are about today. I found a good article in realtor.com about with the housing prices spiking, is it still better to rent or to buy? And what should people be looking at? And so there's some cities here where it's better to rent, and there's cities where it's better to buy. And so, I put some of them down here, but if you're looking for where is a better place to buy, these aren't all of them. This is just a small handful of them. But, Fort Myers, Florida is a better place to buy. San Antonio, Texas, which is, why San Antonio was on there though, because, it's such a sprawling state that, there's areas to go out on. But Texas
Oh,
itself can be kind of
yeah.
expensive.
Texas, it could be, but I think San Antonio is definitely a small, it's not a Houston or a Dallas, so it's definitely a little bit of a smaller town, and the price points are, I think, still reasonable in San Antonio.
Reasonable. So then you got Scranton, Pennsylvania. So shout out to the office. So you can go live in Scranton and buy a house. Riverside, California, and that was one because California in general is a pretty expensive state to
Mm,
live in. But Riverside being outside of in between kind of LA and Palm Springs, a little bit more on the LA side, it's just cheaper because you're a little bit further out again from the beaches, from the city stuff.
right.
So that could be a more affordable city to live in. And then New Haven, Connecticut. So you can buy houses in those cities, for a cheaper than rent sometimes. So
Yeah, and I like the article says, it's often easier to purchase in the Midwest and the South, which tend to have the lower priced homes. So again, I think it comes down to what's the average price in that area versus what's the rent. Um,
right.
and so, okay, so those are the lists of where it makes sense to buy rather than rent.
And so the
What about
cities that the top ones where you want to rent more than buy, if it has to be, was San Jose, California. So up in the Bay Area, Seattle, Washington, Salt Lake City, Utah. I found that one kind of interesting. Denver, Colorado, and Stamford, Connecticut. So Salt Lake, I'd have to look back in why. I didn't realize it was that expensive to be there. But yeah, it's just interesting. So, and I guess you just have to look in your city. Like, what would you think here? Is it better to buy or to rent in Phoenix? But I guess it also, on the numbers that we had before, what city do you want to live in here?
right? It's going to depend definitely on the city. And so it makes me think as an investor that wants some cash flow and to own as a landlord, does it make sense to buy properties in those states where renting is better than buying or buy, I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
which one would I buy a
No,
property for? Renting
no.
is better
I,
than buying.
yeah.
No.
But it's
I'm,
going to
I'm
be expensive.
I'm assuming it's too expensive to buy in Salt Lake City. So if anything, I want to go buy a cheaper property in San Antonio. But then
Yeah.
are there still renters there?
There's a lot. It's just if you're contemplating as a renter, possibly purchasing, it's where you're going to be. And, but that's to the next article then, which the city of Gilbert, which is a suburb here of Phoenix. I saw this is interesting, is the number one nation for the biggest increase in apartment rent. And so on the one bedroom apartment, it went up 117% in the last year for rent. So that's huge. That was number one in all of the nation for their list here. And I saw that Mesa was on there too at 42% for a one bedroom. So
Wow.
they are increasing. So sometimes when you see those numbers, I guess, up above where you were like, or we talked about earlier, where it went up a little bit of money, $5,
Yeah.
$3, maybe it's things like that. But those are the ones listed on the MLS. These are apartments where it's probably in a whole
Right.
apartment building.
Right. And yes, we do limit our data to MLS data. So it would be interesting to go back and see what's going on as Phoenix and Mesa, as a whole.
Yeah.
Okay, so now explain, what's this other list over here? They have
So this is 2 bedrooms. So now the price increase in 2 bedrooms, and I put this one on here again because now the other suburbs of Phoenix, Glendale and Mesa, are on there at 37%. In Glendale, the price increase on 2 bedrooms, and Mesa 35%.
Yeah.
So rents are definitely going up, and it's
Jacksonville, Florida, #1 in the country, huh?
I have a rental there. What?
Is it a 2-bedroom?
Yes. It might even be 3. I don't even remember. I've never seen it. I hate to say it that way, but we learn to invest through our other avenues, and that was one of the opportunities that I had. So it was a new build. You can't, how could you go wrong in Florida on a new build?
Exactly.
Unless there's a hurricane. But they're staying put. That was the other thing in this article, is renters aren't really moving. They're staying where they're at.
Well, and I'm surprised, since homeowners, we've obviously seen over the pandemic how many people are willing to sell and move across country or move to these other places because there's the freedom to work from home and do all that. So it's interesting to see that renters are kind of staying put.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe they don't have as much flexibility in their jobs.
True. Or it's just, if you're it's just painful to move. So it's one thing when you buy a house and you can kind of settle down and you're going to be there then, versus renting and you keep moving. I don't know. Like I said, I'm doing it this year and I haven't moved in 16 years or more. So it'll be interesting.
It's going to be a new one for you. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay. So then our feel good articles are, today's the first day of Black History Month. And I like this article because it's about murals that they're painting in downtown Phoenix. And I like it because they're painting the murals, but we have some incredible artwork in downtown Phoenix that, I don't know. I just love it. Looking at all the murals, the artwork that's been done down there. And so now they're adding, for Black History Month, some more murals. But one thing they're doing on there, which I thought was kind of cool, is they put a QR code on the mural, and then you can read about who the person is that they've painted and what's their story.
QR codes really are making a comeback, man, in every industry.
Yes, but think about that, because you're like, well, who is this person? What did they do? I mean, sure, we have Google now, but you can just scan that, and then it tells you the artist and then why they painted that person and who that person was. So I thought that was really cool. And, just recently I had my daughter's senior pictures taken. The gal who's taking them gave her a few places, but one of them was desert and one of them was downtown. And there's just some dramatic places to take down there, especially with the murals and all the pictures and stuff. So we ended up in the desert because she's a desert baby, but
she doesn't like the heat too. She wants to live somewhere cooler. So
yeah. So anyway, I would encourage people to check those out down there. I think it's really cool. And if you click on the article, there's a map on where the new ones are being painted. And then you just can't help but stumble upon anything else that's down there.
Yeah.
It's
awesome.
Yep.
And then
so again,
they're in here because this is the busy season out here in Phoenix, right? So Barrett
Jackson, I had to get rid of the ones. The what?
The Barrett Jackson just finished, right?
Yeah. All the car ones did. But, because we were gone this weekend, we missed the Balloon Festival and the Wine Festival. So that's okay, though.
Well,
but yeah, the big car shows.
I wanted to get some wine and go up in the balloon.
I know. But Scottsdale Western Week is really cool. There's rodeos going on. There's a lot of events downtown. And it's followed up by probably this coming weekend with the Parada del Sol, which is a parade that goes down Old Town Scottsdale or Scottsdale Road. And it's nothing but horses. There's no cars. There's no float. I mean, if there's a float, everything is horse-drawn, horses, all but till the end of the horse parade. And then the street cleaners all come by.
Well, you got to clean the street after the horses are walking around there.
Yeah. So that is that's a really cool festival. If anybody out there can get a chance to go to it, it's neat. And then we got other stuff coming. The Renaissance Festival. Oh, and the Waste Management, the big golf tournament.
Yeah, that's
starts.
always fun.
Yeah, that's gonna, because that always happens the same day as Super Bowl, the finals for that. So next year, the Super Bowl is here in Phoenix. So we will have the Super Bowl and the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Like each time it's happened before, they'll both be on the same day. So big stuff happening a year from now.
And big for the Airbnb industry, just saying.
Yes, it is. Yeah, so that's kind of it. I mean, we didn't have a lot this week, but we were very busy.
No, I think, focusing on the rental market right now makes sense. I mean, the pricing has just increased so much here that not everyone's going to be able to afford that. So, I love the whole premise of the article, like to buy or not to buy, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is it? So, well, anyway,
we're still buying though, right?
we're still buying, right? We're still buying. So I did put on here, I want to know if people do you own or rent your home? So let us know. Also check us out at lizandmarie.com/save now. And I'm so excited for our meeting tomorrow. We should hopefully be finalizing our book and moving forward with teaching landlords how to save money on taxes and capital gains when they're selling their properties. So be sure to look forward to that coming soon. And I guess thank you guys all for tuning in.
Yeah.
Watching it on replay, hashtag us, let us know.
Right. So peace,
love.
Peace and love. We'll be back next week.
Bye.